Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful night of Just Getting Started January with featuring Dog in the background. Apologize for that, but we do love our furry friends, as we've highlighted through themed games this month. Tonight we have Alan and Joseph of Positive Concept Games joining us. They will be talking about their new retro RPG, and we're super excited to have them. We're always excited to dive into the stories behind these games and learn about the motivations that drove the story, and how they got started with from the studio to the art to the development. So without further ado, allow me to introduce our guests, and they will introduce themselves. So we've got Alan, the creative director, and Joseph. Why don't you guys say hi and tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Alan Gabbard. I am the creative director of Positive Concept Games and Shrine's Legacy. And I do concept art, I do the writing for the script and story, I do game design and sound effects.
I'm Joseph Duke, the technical director. I do most of the pixel art. We have been commissioning a few pixel artists recently, but none of that's in the game, in the demo just yet. But I also do music and work with Alan on some things like sound effects and such, and I'm also the programmer.
Awesome.
I don't remember if I said technical director, but if I did,
Yeah.
No worries.
Thanks.
That's awesome. So, for Alan first, maybe you're the creative director. So, how long have you been like kind of interested in game developments, and what was the first thing that got you interested in thinking that it could be a career, or is it or a hobby?
So, so when we were in high school, we actually met. This was years ago, more than a decade ago, and we met up. And he actually asked me, "Hey, I want you to come up with a story for a game." And so I thought, well, I don't want to pick the most ambitious thing ever, so I'm going to pick this story that I told my little brother when we were kids as a bedtime story, and we're going to turn it into a game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been an ongoing process for years while we were going through college, while we were working full-time jobs. And in 2016, I would say, is about when we started shaping the game as it is now. Because like we've thrown ideas about game development for years, but it took us a long time to figure out how to make a game. So 2016 is when we started working on this version of Shrine's Legacy, and in 2020 we finally released a beta demo for it. So yeah.
October of 2020 is basically whenever people actually got to know that it exists.
So as far as like a career, 2020 is when we did the dive into actually getting it out there and marketing it. But like I've been interested in being a game designer since I was a little kid when I played Final Fantasy IX, and I wanted to be like the person on the computer making the graphics or the game itself. But then I got older and I'm like, I just want to write stories. But yeah, so long time.
Absolutely, and that's all important part of telling the story, right? From the graphics, the music, the art, they all tell part of the story. So they're all definitely important. So how about you, Joseph? You said you do, when we were talking before the stream a little bit, you said you're doing most of the coding. So when did you kind of find out that you loved coding, and what was kind of your first introduction to the idea that you could code for gaming?
Well, for me, I feel like I honestly started. So in sixth grade, I was using Game Maker, like the older versions of Game Maker, and making like little programs. Like I made like a take care of a pet game and some really generic stuff. But before that, I also used like RPG Maker a little bit.
Okay.
But basically, it was just an ongoing thing from there. Like it started with small stuff like RPG Maker, ROM packs, got into like Game Maker, early Game Maker, and then I just kept going with it. And now it's Game Maker Studio 2. So I'm still using Game Maker. It's just newer Game Maker now.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you two have been in it from like the start. Has it been just you two, or have you guys had other people on your team?
It's just been us two so far. We've had commissions from other people, like for small things here and there, but we haven't like ever had like a third full member of our team.
Yeah, if you go to our Twitter, you can see like somewhere on there we posted about updating the portraits, and that's commissioned from a guy named Toa. So we get help with art assets like that, and we also have a digital artist on. Her handle is Shrimp Toast.
Yeah, she made the title screen and she made the logo, stuff like that.
Digital art. So yeah, other than that though, we're just the two core members of Positive Concept Games.
That's awesome. So what inspired the name Positive Concept?
That's an interesting question. Years ago, I had a friend in high school who wanted to start a band called Positive Concept, and he had a logo that's similar to our logo now, but it was redesigned by our digital artist friend, Shrimp Toast. And in high school, I was part of that band, Positive Concept, but that band, of course, didn't last. And I still thought the name was really cool, and I thought the logo design was cool. So I asked him, hey, can I take the name Positive Concept and use it for my video game company? And he was like, yeah, go for it. So yeah, that's where it came from. It started out as a high school band, and now it's a video game company, essentially.
That's awesome. So I know when I was reading about it, I liked it just because our motto here is power up, obviously, with the Connect experience and empower. And so I like the idea of, when I read Positive Concept, it just was kind of abstract enough, but also kind of, it seemed to me to maybe imply something, I don't know if you meant it, but just the fact that, video games can kind of, inspire these ideas within us, right? And so hopefully in your journey, you found something that's been a positive concept for you guys, but I'm excited to dive into some of that. So before we talk too much about the details of game making and some of that other stuff, some of the strategy, why don't you tell us a little about the game? And you said it got started as kind of a bedtime story between you and your brother, correct, Alan?
Long time ago, yeah.
Yeah. And so you kind of just built on that idea. Can you talk about more like, what motivated you to take that story specifically into a game?
Well, I already mentioned that I wanted a simpler story to begin with instead of using an overly ambitious story. But it turned into an overly ambitious game, like a little bit too much for two guys. We should have really made a smaller game to begin with. But
hindsight's 2020.
Yeah. I just thought it would be easier to use this kind of story because it's kind of generic on the surface. It sounds generic on the surface, but there's definitely a lot. Since I'm the writer, I really pride myself on writing a decent story. So I point to Avatar, The Last Airbender a lot when I tell people the kind of story that I'm trying to tell, which is, the premise seems kind of generic. Like, you got a chosen one, you got these 4 elements. In our game, there's 8 different elements, but it's about the characters and the development of the characters and how the story progresses, and it's all about the execution. It doesn't matter if the premise is kind of generic on the surface. So, and that's why I always point to Avatar, because it's one of the greatest television shows ever made, period, animated or otherwise. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it. You don't have anything better to watch.
I've watched it multiple times. I actually just recently watched Legend of Korra for the first time because it came available on Netflix, so that was interesting to read that and
Korra's good.
Read through the fandom's opinions on the various aspects of it. So it's just great how many people care about a good story, and how many people can connect to a good story. So I definitely applaud you in taking on that challenge of.
I mean, to me, I think when it comes to a story-driven RPG, like ours, I think the thing that's going to stay with you after you finish the game is the characters, story, and the music.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think those all go hand in hand, and maybe some of the gameplay, especially if it's good. But I mean, it's going to be the story and the music that's going to stay with you long after. I think that's my philosophy.
Yeah, oh no, that absolutely makes sense. Thinking in your reference to Avatar: The Last Airbender, you think of there are some scenes you definitely think of, but you think of their character, how Sokka is the, goofy guy who's always got the bad jokes and everything, and Aang always has like something wholesome to say about any situation, and so it's kind of that saying, it's not what you do, but it's how you make people feel, right?
Right. Well, like Sokka, you mentioned Sokka. He kind of is introduced as like the comic relief character, but what I love about Sokka, and something I try to do as a writer, is Sokka is really the leader of the group and not Aang, the main character. And I think that's amazing that they did that, because like it's so easy to make the protagonist the leader of a group, but they decided to make the goofy guy essentially their leader, and I just love just things like that.
Yeah,
it's just great writing, in my opinion.
No, absolutely, and I love that you caught on to that, and I can't wait to show the audience kind of how you chose to dive into that, because there's so many ways to tell a story and create those different characters, right? You can go with the protagonist as a leader, or you can take on the challenge of creating that secondary leader character in there, and so I'm excited to show what you guys came up with in your demo here in a little bit. Now tell us a little bit about your characters. There's a co-op version, right? So there's two characters, and then what kind of beings are they interacting with? Are they interacting with creatures or humans?
So interacting with, like, there are human NPCs, and there's also non-human NPCs like postcats, the fox race called Vulpix.
Okay.
So there's a variety of races in the game. As far as like fighting, it's mostly monsters and minions of the main villain.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the bulk of combat. Maybe there's a human here or there in combat for certain story segments, but I can't say too much about that without spoiling things.
Right, absolutely. So why don't let me get the game open here, and we'll get a little transition going. Apologize to the viewers for the slightly awkward webcam setup, but you'll be able to see the full game and see all of our reactions to it. There we go. All right. So this is their free demo if you subscribed to their... let me turn this down for... Windows games on first time play always love to break your eardrums. So I've got Shrine's Legacy up here, and we're learning about Alclor and how he was unstoppable. Kaylee's shrine arose on the verge of descent and challenged the monstrosity while wielding the Sword of Shrine. With a sword powered by 8 elemental gemstones, Kaylee brought about Alclor's defenses, and so peace has reigned in the land for centuries. Now, this character in the background, that's Alclor, right?
Yes, that's right.
And he is the main villain.
Yes, he is.
So a nice little intro brings us to the main menu here. Alright. So this is the main menu here. They've got their coming soon Kickstarter. Make sure you go follow them. That's both on our website, on their website, and you can go to Kickstarter and search for Shrine's Legacy. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at options here. So you have the option to go co-op here. So I'm on mouse and keyboard, but they said controller. You are able to play on controller, correct?
Yes.
Now, is it only accessible through Steam at the moment, or is it on other platforms as well?
Just Steam, and there's a DRM free version as well. You can play whichever one you like.
Okay.
For Windows PC, and you can change.
Yeah, for Windows PC.
Yeah.
For now.
We would like to get it on Mac, Linux, and other platforms later, but right now it's just Windows PC.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you can change your controls there.
Yep.
If you don't like. It actually looks like.
It shows the defaults, and you can change them.
Yeah.
Those are just links.
So I've got an Xbox gamepad plugged in, so you can do that. So move right. Oh.
You can click on that, I think, and it should.
What I do?
There you go. There you go.
Oh, that's what I did. Okay, cycle left.
Hit $1
Yeah.
Just, I think it's A index on the keyboard. There you go. So that's your back.
Okay, so there's just one menu.
There you go.
You just switch to player 2.
So you got a question. So if it's co-op, would you play split screen or within the other person's game?
It's on the same screen.
Split screen then?
And the camera won't let you leave the screen. Like the camera kind of creates an invisible wall if you get too far away from each other on opposite ends of the screen.
It centers between the two characters.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can play online co-op through Steam's remote play option, or you can do local couch co-op.
Yeah, it does require a good internet connection.
For the online co-op, yes, it does.
For sure, the syncing and everything. But that makes sense. It's very much in the style of the retro Super Nintendo games where, you have the screen lock to some extent because of various reasons. So we've got a cloaked figure walking up to a headstone here. Oh, enters pause. Let's try and remember the keys. That's not it.
Is it? I think Z is the actual.
Oh, there you go, Z. Perfect. Even you are gone, mother. So this cloaked figure has lost their mother. And now we're gonna get to not move. They're gonna walk away. Because we're learning the story. How long can we go on pretending there is hope? How many apologies can I make to those who have fallen? So the cloaked figure is wrestling with some very, very serious questions here.
Yeah.
And it looks like we're gonna introduce another. So we held strong, even in the gravest of moments, and we found hope where there could be none. So I want you to do the same. Chat says they appreciate the option to do local co-op. Always frustrating as a game is co-op, but you can't choose.
Oh, initially all we had was local co-op, and we recently figured out how to do Steam online co-op remote play. But yeah,
doing like native online co-op is really challenging programming wise. So
yeah,
there's a good chance that won't really make it in.
Mm-hmm.
But having that extra option for the Steam remote play is really nice.
Yeah. I prefer couch co-op, honestly.
I do too, but you can't always do it.
And there's not enough in action RPG or RPGs in general. There's not enough local or online co-op, really.
For sure, especially for games, story games where you can really dive in with someone else, because it makes the story that much more rich when you can really share it with someone else, right? Just like we talk about our Avatar, the Last Airbender fandom, it's a lot more rich when you have those people to share it with, and when you can. It's a role-playing game, so why not have two people take their roles, right? So we've got a new character here. has not been introduced, but they're running from someone apparently. So we're gonna hit Z, which is the button. Make sure you pay attention to your buttons and
change your controls if you don't like it.
For sure.
Once you can move around, you make adjustments as needed.
And if the keyboard feels awkward, controller, man, that's what I recommend.
Controller developer recommended.
I don't like playing games like this with the keyboard.
I don't mind it, but it's definitely better suited to controller.
Absolutely. Now we've met Rio, who is doing some battle training, but he was supposed to meet Mala. Now, me personally, I'm wondering if Mala is the person we just saw running away. So I suppose we're gonna find that out.
Maybe. I don't know. Who made this game? Not me.
Alright, so we get to play as our first character, Rio. Wander. Oh, Z is your action, so you're swinging the sword.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a person. Z to talk. Nothing like a good jog in the afternoon to get pumped. Where's Walter? Doesn't he usually jog with you? He's always on another treasure hunting adventure, that Walter. Alrighty, so I am personally digging the graphics. Very well done there. Examine some sign. If you have the Zool, we have the Jewel. So Zool must be the currency. Down in the bottom right also. Gem, the Jewel Man, hit a jewel and told us we could have it if we found it. Now this must be a side quest.
A little bit, yeah.
Hey, now I need to get away from here.
Oh, you got it.
Yay! There are chocolate stains on it. Kids in their dirty hands. Chocolatey Dungeoneer Jewel. You can equip jewels by selecting equip jewels at a save point, which I'm going to guess that is this a save point? Yeah.
Yep.
Displays a minimap while inside Dungeoneers. Interesting. Awesome. And now we're back on our quest to find Mala. So what do you think was the most time-consuming process? Was it coordinating the pieces of the story or the actual writing of the story?
That's a tough question.
I guess really writing the story, because once you get it into the game, any adjustments that need to be made are fairly simple to figure out. Because sometimes you'll put the story in the game and it won't work the way it is, so you gotta tweak it and adjust it, or make it shorter a lot of times, because
yeah, we had to do a lot of that, like just shortening like the way that it was written originally, so that the game flows better.
yeah.
I think we even cut a couple scenes out entirely.
Yeah, one thing that I believe as a game designer, which is counterintuitive to most game design philosophies and JRPGs, is don't waste players' time.
For sure.
Yep. I hate games that waste your time.
She went off to the spring, so now we're gonna have to go find the spring and Mala.
Yeah.
where might the string be?
Upward.
Up? Alrighty.
Yeah.
There you go. This is the way to the spring. Mala should be here. Oh. What have I done? Is there a way to jump?
No.
Okay.
There's not a way to jump, but you can't get there.
Yeah. You're not stuck. Unless there's some horrible bug that we've never noticed before and it stops you from getting out.
Just keep your eye on main cliff sides and you should find the exit the way back.
Looking at the cliffside. Oh, I see it. Haha! Pro strats from the developers themselves.
Yeah.
Mala does not appear to be the girl that was running, unless they've changed clothes.
It's just a really good makeup.
Always impress a lady by never being on time. Rio and Mala seem to have a very close relationship.
Yeah, that's true. I can tell you a lot of this. Rio and Mala's dynamic relationship is inspired by me kind of when I was a kid. Like I kind of always wanted like a childhood girlfriend, like not a girlfriend, but like a friend who was a girl, and I never really had one. So I was just kind of inspired by that.
Absolutely, it's definitely a very common theme in a lot of different anime or even cartoons. You know that at least the core friend group, you know, from childhood.
Yeah. I did have some, you know, female friends growing up, but none who were like my best friend or anything like that.
Right. We're going and reminiscing on the good times, playing little mini games as friends. Rio with his eyes set on the future of preparing and being a noble warrior, maybe. Ah, there it is. He wants to be a manly man rescuing the princess. And Mala being a little bit ambitious, maybe even. Trying to switch things on its head for Rio. She has her own jewel as well. Maybe. It's a charm. And now we get our first choice of the game. Well, besides to interact with players, of course. And we get to decide how cheesy Rio is.
I like a little cheese.
Right? A flatter batter. Made of lightning stones from Hendren Marshes. Walter gave them to me. And that's our friend who was missing from the jog.
Yep, you're right.
The stones are supposed to signify valor and ensure victory in all perils. Chat is also appreciating the clouds and the attention to details on the graphic level,
Oh,
as you can see them hovering over us.
yeah. The clouds are one of the oldest things in terms of programming and it being there.
It is definitely a very nice
It's
touch.
probably not really even being changed very much.
Yeah, very old, but it works.
It's just steady.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it adds a little bit of that feel to the game, right?
yeah. That sense of it being real, I guess.
And the constant motion, so you know that the game is moving. Received Mala's keepsake because we're the bravest warrior in all the land.
Sure, yeah.
You'll need it when you save your princess. I have just this sinking feeling something bad is gonna happen. And there's some cracking glass. Oh, here's our mysterious woman who was running away earlier. Tracking down the sword of the shrine. Uh-oh. Putting a gem in the sword.
Oh,
And then they're off.
I think I know who that is in chat. Nate Paw. I think that's our friend. I think he was testing our game years ago, our demo, and he said something along the lines of, "Yes, they say it's really quiet here when there's a loud, raging waterfall." So we changed the dialogue a bit.
That's funny.
Changed it from quiet to peaceful, I think.
Yeah. Which was
That's
a very good observation, by the way.
Absolutely. That's always great to have those loyal followers too, right?
Yeah, and he's an old friend of mine.
It's definitely great. So now we're on to the confrontation, trying to figure out who this mysterious woman is because Rio's returning home to find them running out of the house. Now we're gonna run after and chase them. Hold X to dash, so we get a little bit of a tutorial here. And we don't get to save. Oh, there we go. We get to save now. Oh, I accidentally just found a different thing. So, of course, naturally, being a good gamer, we save our progress. Oh, I hit the X button, though, so I can save it. Alright.
But the text is clear enough to let you know that it did not save.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and we've got our mystery person. So you just have to press the X to activate the sprint.
Yeah.
And now they're fighting a bug. Why won't the gem respond? I can't cast magic through the sword. Uh-oh. Oh. Of course it's going to react as soon as Rio picks it up. And we've frozen the bug. Hurry and finish off the monster while it's frozen. Uh-oh.
Yes, safely. You're absolutely right. It is. The best gamers really do save 5 times and still question whether or not did I just save that. Also, appreciate liking the music. You can actually press F5 and it'll change the music from old Super Nintendo style to an orchestral style.
Huh, I'll give that a try in here in just a second, once we finish this dialogue. Who are you? Why did you break in my home and take my sword? There's no time to explain, I need your help, and there's probably people... Oh. Of course Rio's angry and confused because Why would he trust someone who's just stolen from something?
You know, a lot of people are actually like, yeah, it's awesome that he doesn't, like, well, I'll let you finish
Okay.
the scene before I say.
No worries. Rima Nerone. I am in need of the only weapon capable of felling Aklor. He has returned, and I want revenge. Aklor, the demon my ancestor defeated long ago? Yes. He's in denial. All the emotions for poor Rio. You are of Shrine lineage. You can wield the Sword of Shrine to destroy Aklor. It is your family's sworn duty. Rio. What is he gonna choose to do? I don't think so. Uh-oh. You have no right to insult me. I'm going back home. Ah.
So a lot of people have told us it's great that he doesn't just go along with her, and then he's like, yeah, no. And that kind of surprised me because I just wrote it like, well, this is how a normal human being would react if somebody just broke into your house and stole, you know, prized possession, a family heirloom. Like,
Right.
you wouldn't be gung-ho, oh boy, call to adventure. You'd be like, oh, you're crazy, go away.
Right. Yeah, to take that sense of security, that moment of normalcy that they were just sharing between Rio and Mala, and then to contrast it with betrayal, basically. You know, someone trying to steal, and then they would think you'd be manipulating. So I can definitely understand that contrast there.
Right.
So really, everyone's escaping town because they've come to take us all. This does not look promising for Mala and her family. Oh, everyone's being rounded up. At least we know they're safe for now. I recently purchased Mega Man X Collection, and so Aklor's style is making me think of a Mega Man villain for some reason.
He's getting at least his portrait, maybe his sprite to some extent too. He's getting a redesign in the near future thanks to our talented pixel artist that we've commissioned. So,
that's awesome.
A lot of people have said he looks too silly. Somebody said he looked like a berserk. Part of me is like, yeah, I don't mind him being kind of silly looking.
Right.
Because his actions speak louder, but he is a serious villain, so I guess it's better off getting him redesigned.
Yeah, to match his character. I think I just changed it to the orchestral now.
Yeah, you can just switch back and forth with F5.
Anytime. The Super Nintendo chiptune style is probably the final style that's going to be in the full game, but it used to be the orchestral style.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Mala's been placed under a spell, or worse. And, of course, Rio's gonna come in and fire his friend. And we have Rima here. If you want to protect the girl, run. There's nothing Aklor wants more than the sword. After them.
Fun fact, a long time ago, Rayma used to freeze Aklor in this scene. And then one of our testers was like, that makes makes him look stupid and weak. It's like, yeah, you're right. So let's change it.
She just freezes him, hits the minion 4 times, kind of distracts him.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot more sense.
Also to show the player that you can hit enemies while they're frozen, you send them flying.
Mm-hmm. So you're learning some more about the game here early on. And then, oh, and then your magic is designated by the quarter sphere up in the top, or quarter circle.
Yep. That's it. That was inspired by Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
1, actually, a little bit. And, I guess, I don't know if I should say, because it's kind of a spoiler, what happens when you get old. Should I say that, Joe?
We can just say as you get more MP, the bar will wrap around the element icon.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay. So we're escaping from the... Chat asked about the magic point ticks, and you're answering it as they had typed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your mortal body will be shattered before this is over. Menacing. Oh, now we're down at the beach. Good thing you didn't look down.
Oh yeah, some people comment about that. Not too many people, but...
Oh. Now we're controlling Rayma, so my guess is that early on, Rayma and Rio are the main characters of this story that you can at least control.
Yes, in fact, they're the only 2 characters in the game.
Okay.
So...
The only 2 playable characters.
Yeah, playable characters. Obviously, there are more characters.
Right.
Yeah, most of the story exposition that goes on and on is about done here, so you can really play the game.
Yeah, you're almost through the introduction.
Yeah, you can... Like, some people can take their time of exploring the village some more, but... Yeah, I know you wanted to get to the more of the gameplay part.
Well, I'd say it's more freeform. It's like, so the jewels that you get in the game that you can equip, you can kind of customize your playstyle based on the jewels that you equip.
Yeah, for anyone watching later, Sable Dragon is asking, would you say there are classes or certain specializations for the playable characters like many RPGs have, or is it more freeform?
I will say that Rio is more physical oriented and Rayma is more magical oriented.
Yeah.
But you can still customize them with tools
Yeah.
to be better at one than the other.
Yep.
You can call me Rio. After another heated exchange, Rio is obviously very concerned with his village, and I believe we just have the cloaked figure make a brief appearance.
Yeah, he didn't used to make an appearance there, but I wanted to remind players that this character exists and he's important.
You can now play as both Rio and Rayma, and 2-player mode is unlocked. Set up config in the menu to enjoy. The character's HP reaches 0. You can rescue them with the action button, but if both are down, it will be game over. There are no autosaves, so be sure to save often. Shift to switch characters. Okay, some health points.
Which characters whenever you like, as long as it's not in co-op mode. If you're playing in co-op mode, you can still switch characters, but you don't have to press the button at the same time.
Yeah.
And it looks like Rayma also auto attacks on her own.
Yeah.
Yeah, her AI has been improved significantly where she doesn't get hit as often by enemies anymore, because it's annoying when your ally, who you can also change to on the fly, is dying constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's always a
Oh,
challenge.
I was supposed to go find Mother.
That's awesome.
Nathan says the music in this game gets stuck in my head when I'm like washing dishes or whatever. And yeah, that's the point, honestly. The music is, I was saying earlier in the interview, music is the thing. Music and story are the things that are going to stick with you in a story-driven game like this. Like when you think about like The Last of Us, for example, it's really the story and the characters that stick with you, not really the gameplay or even the visuals at the end of the day. But something we've learned is to get people to try your game or to really check it out or to be excited about it, you gotta make your game visually appealing. It's gotta look good. But then once you pull people in, when they experience the story and the music and the characters, that's what they're gonna remember at the end of the day, more so than the visuals.
And the gameplay is definitely like the beat that keeps you playing as you're playing through it.
Yeah. And I do think gameplay is very important. Like, as you'll see if you get to the first dungeon, like, the gameplay amps up to involve puzzles and combat to be more in-depth.
Yeah, you're very close to the first dungeon right now.
Yeah.
This is like the final, like, cutscenes before the dungeon.
Very
I
nice.
do want to add, in the future, for future projects, I want to do a better job getting people to the first area of a game instead of it taking this long.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it took a little bit longer, obviously, too, because we're kind of talking and breaking things out, and so people can play it at their own lesson. But I do appreciate how much detail is, given to the story. I wanted to read the book. Oh. What's up, Mom? A group of monsters passed through here, not moments ago, and I hid down here. It sounded like they were searching for something. I've been so terrified. Rio, who's this? We just met before the monsters attacked. Online dating? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I see. Can you tell me what's happening out there?
That'll
There's
be the story that we make later on.
There's an attack on Ural Village. Those monsters you saw were responsible. And they were seeking to destroy the Sword of Shrine. Aklor has returned. Was anyone hurt? We're honest, so we're gonna tell our Mala something happened to Mala if I hit the right button.
Totally agree about music being important, especially early on in Sable.
Sable says,
Towards the end too.
for me personally, good music gives the impression that someone has worked hard on a game, because music is easy to just be like, I'll make it better later. So good music early on is great. Joe wants to compose more than program or make pixel art. But he doesn't get to do that as much as the pixel art or the programming, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah, because the work has to be done.
Hopefully in the future we can afford to get someone on board to help us with the programming for projects and making pixel art.
Yeah, like
For sure. That'll be a stretch goal, right?
possibly the pixel artist.
Pixel artist, probably.
Yeah.
Probably not programming, because Joe thinks his code is too messy.
I don't want to try to teach someone how to read my code at this point.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're about to search for some gems. Well, we have a gemstone. Oh. We have several gemstones, it looks like. Do we get to pick one? The Sword of Shrine was crafted to be infused with 8 elemental gems, which were scattered about Aklor long ago. Oh, so we have the ice gem in there. Reuniting all 8 gemstones would yield power to end the demon. That's how we're gonna do it then. We'll find the rest of the gems and take down that monster. Your father never mentioned anything of their whereabouts. How old is his father? Or was his father? Because I thought the demon, Aklor came long ago. Or is it?
Let's see, let me think here. Rio is 17. His mom is 38. So, like, between the ages of 38 and 40.
Okay.
Probably around 40.
So maybe 10 or 20 years ago? For Aklor? Or was it prior to that even?
It was a previous ancestor that.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. No, that was hundreds of years ago.
But his dad is the one that is more related to that ancestor.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I got you. I get what you're saying now. Yeah. Of course, Rio is trying to be the big, tough, manly man. Mom with some words of wisdom and raw emotion. Calico Forest. One of the gemstones should be located there. So you arrive with a gemstone and even know where another is, not to mention your knowledge about my ancestry. Care to explain? I obtained the information from a source. Wow, very, very reliable. Alrighty. More saving.
Of course.
Get some running in.
Yeah. So that's all the big story exposition done. And
Alright.
now you just mostly play.
I mean, there's more story, you know, as the game goes on, but you get a good chunk of gameplay right here.
Yeah.
The gem. So is the forest a dungeon in itself?
Correct.
Yep.
Alrighty. Alright, so we're in a dungeon, so that gemstone we got earlier from saving the kids, we have a mini-map now.
Yes.
We get to see that. There's some red... Hey. The red stuff slows us down, the ooze. As you can tell, I'm not much of a... What is that? Oh. Cleared the vines for us. That was very nice of the dead monster. I place statues like these around during my travels to help magic users like myself get through the world. There's nothing more frustrating than running out of magic when trying to find a way past obstacles. So strike these when you need to refill your magic points. Gig 'em. Oh, something just shot at us. Interesting. Oh, that was very nice.
Yeah, you figured that out fairly quickly.
Hey, sometimes you just gotta experiment, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's what you can do a lot of that in this game. Experimenting is important.
That's why we figured a statue like that to help people get feedback would be very prudent on our part.
Oh, and we got some currency there from that monster.
Why are bugs flying around with money in their pockets? That's okay.
Enemy. Enemies have dropped money forever.
Oh, okay, now they aim at us. Run away. Thank you, Rio. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. Oh, I thought it was like specifically aiming at me, but no, that was just the angle it was shooting at. Still not very nice. Oh, little fire thing. Oh, we got the key. So shows the key in our inventory down there at the bottom right. Our minimap is exploring. We've got the key. We're gonna go ahead and save. Unlock. Oh. Rayma. And so each section of the map is essentially its own puzzle, it seems. So.
Yeah, there's usually something we try to do.
Try to give every room a purpose.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay. I guess he's.
I stuck the heart in an inaccessible part of the map.
Yeah.
Oh, and I need something on this to make it go down. Oh, that hurts. Don't touch the vines. Awesome. Well, I think, oh, if you hit enter, the way I've switched it, then you can look at your various aspects. Then Z to get status.
Yeah, that's how you can change control
You can
as
look at
well.
the map. So you get the map whether you have that Dungeoneering gemstone or not, correct? Or
Correct.
okay.
But you only get the mini map when you use the dungeon.
Right. Yeah.
Alrighty, well, with that said, I wanted everyone to be able to get that demo and try playing the game themselves once it's... there's a beta access, I believe, on the website, and some more details. More coming on the Kickstarter, so definitely be sure to check them out. Now, I want to open it up for questions from the chat. Let's go back here to the nicer overlay since we're just going to wrap it up with some chatting. But, so yeah, that gameplay was fun. I heard you mention, you know, you kind of want your future games to maybe cut down on the tutorial length or the story, the intro story, the backstory. So what are some other things you learned while making this game? Or like, what was maybe your biggest obstacle that you overcame and had to learn something from?
To pay a lot of attention to scope.
Scope creep. That's what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Just general game design flow, and learn that art is really important to get people's attention, no matter how good your music or your story or your gameplay is.
Mm.
And social media is another thing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there's been an endless number of lessons we've got with this.
Right.
Since this is actually our first commercial project, so
Yeah.
we should see what we should have done is we should have made a very small game. Like, this was a small game in our eyes compared to what we really want to make, but we should have made a microscopic in comparison to what we thought was a small game, I guess.
Absolutely. And oh, sorry, go ahead.
Just because spending a really long time making your first project without really getting people to know about it easily, because you're not really releasing a finished project, it kind of, I won't say it was a waste of time, because it's not, because we learned so much in the process of making this, but we could have probably used our time a little bit better, basically, by doing it a little bit at a time instead of trying to figure out everything all at once, basically.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Kind of break it down in little bite-sized pieces a little bit more, maybe.
Yeah, as far as projects, start smaller and then work our way up to this instead of starting with this, and then eventually reaching what we wanted to reach in the long term.
But we're deep in it now, and if our
Absolutely.
Kickstarter is successful, we'll be able to finish it with ease. But it's going to be,
It's just a matter of time, having the time to put into it, basically.
without funding, we would have to work day jobs to continue paying our bills, essentially.
Right.
And if we have to work day jobs, there's not going to be as much time put into finishing the game. So, yeah. So hopefully our Kickstarter goes well later this year.
Absolutely. I definitely hope it will. So So when you're talking about like the process and like working efficiently, what kind of workflow do you guys have? Do you guys have like what's your collaborative process look like, and how do you guys communicate when you're working on a task?
So both of us live in the same house, so that helps a lot for sure. But if we need to there's certain things we'll do like together, there's certain things we'll do together literally, like level design. We'll come up with level design together by sitting at a table with a notebook and just literally sketching out stuff. And then I'll actually put it into the game afterward on my own. But some things we do together, but we do it separately, like sound design. But usually we'll do separate sounds and then we'll edit each other's sounds and stuff. But it's just communication. Whenever we need to talk about something, we just talk about it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So it sounds like you kind of have, you obviously have defined your roles, and then you guys collaborate and then put it into action and then kind of review it together.
Yeah, we do a lot of editing stuff. Like, I basically edited the entire script that Alan wrote for the game story, and he's edited the pixel art I've done. By edited, I mean we go through it and look at it or read it or whatever, and just give feedback to each other. This isn't right, or this is good, this is not good.
I remember Rio.
Each other, make it better.
I remember Rio's spread at one point. His head looked like Morty's head from Rick and Morty, and I was like, you gotta change that.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, and he'll tell me if something doesn't work in the script, and I'll tell him this music could be better here, or this instrument could be done differently here, or different. Sometimes I'll even contribute notes to the music, but I don't know. It's important to get it all right, but it's very difficult getting it all right.
It's always helpful having a second set of eyes and ears. So
yeah, I can't imagine doing a project like this alone.
Neither can I.
For sure. Well, I definitely commend you on your. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. A little bit of Zoom lag there.
I just said it's hard enough to make two people.
Yeah.
For sure. Sorry about the dog again. So I'm not seeing too many questions from chat, but I definitely have got a couple more for you at least. With your project starting a little bit delayed and communication and stuff, how have you guys been kind of balancing your time during the everything going on with the pandemic?
Well, the things that have helped is we both quit our jobs this year, our daytime jobs. We saved up a lot of money from working and then just worked full time on the game. So we had a lot of time.
We quit last year.
Right, last year. So
yeah.
My brain is still in 2020 mode.
No, absolutely.
I quit in July last year, and he quit in March of last year.
And as far as social media goes, how it balanced time, for advertising the game or promoting the game rather. I don't think advertising is the right word, but basically we just work together on that a lot. Alan does a lot of the stuff that's not related to Twitter, and we both kind of share the Twitter stuff, and we base everything else on the Twitter stuff, so it kind of helps spread the word a little bit without having to make totally new posts for everything, brand new writing and everything. But basically we try to post something at least 4 or 5 times a week about the game on our Twitter, and that's our primary source of promotion.
Yeah. Hopefully we get enough eyes on the project by the time we're ready to launch the Kickstarter. Actually, that's going to be what's determining when we launch it, is when we have enough followers really on various social media.
We just want to feel like when we launch it, we're taking less of a risk, basically.
Yeah.
Not succeeding, I guess.
We need a certain amount of money to survive for about 2 years, and if we don't have enough followers, we're probably not going to get that money. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, I feel like we got a good handle on Twitter. If only we could figure out Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram's tough.
I don't understand Instagram.
It does work though. I've seen it. Like
Mhm.
people have talked to us about it, and we've seen it work for other people.
Yeah.
It's just something's different about it that we haven't quite figured out. But
Yeah.
that's great.
Absolutely. No, it's definitely good to do that, and hopefully, as you get the followers and expand your game and maybe your Kickstarter project, you'll be able to, recruit some of that help on board. And now, so my final question then, with you have obviously your goals and stuff like that. What just from that little bit of stuff, the story intro, sorry, was. Again, heavy on the story focus. What do you think when people play games? Maybe not even your specific thing. What is your take on what should they take away from your game or just games in general? What do you think people should take away from that?
I think it depends on the kind of game you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm playing Mario, I just want to take away a fun time from the gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about the story. Who cares about the story in Mario? Nobody cares.
Unless it's like Mario RPG or something.
Well,
even then, it doesn't take itself
Mario,
that serious.
yeah, Mario RPG story isn't anything it's basically a Mario story in my opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a little more dialogue than normal, but it's still like, who cares? Like, keep this a secret. But I think
more about the characters.
I think Gino's overrated because they're I don't know. I'm not that compelled by any of them. Like any of them. It's not like Final Fantasy where I actually care.
Alright, I'll be the voice of reason and say Gino is cool.
It's overrated. Like I don't know, there's nothing that great about him. I'd rather play as Peach and smack things with my frying pan. No,
yeah, so I definitely hear what you're saying. Each game has its purpose, right?
Yes. But if it's a story-driven game, like a good Final Fantasy or The Last of Us, for example, I feel like I said before, the story, the characters is what's going to stay with you. And I feel like, honestly, I feel like people can get a lot out of a story in a games that is story focused if they want to take something from it. I guess some people, they might enjoy a story, but maybe they won't. Like for me personally, I tend to apply something I learned from a good story, whether it's a movie or a book or a video game. I tend to apply what I get out of that story into my own personal life.
Mm-hmm.
So, like ever since I was a kid, I've always looked up to Luke Skywalker, for example, from the original Star Wars trilogy. So, yeah, I mean...
Yeah, and one thing we didn't mention earlier that probably was worth mentioning is the idea of theming in games, like, especially for the story. Like, it's something we didn't actually think much about early on when we were making Shrine's Legacy. But, like, just asking, what is the theme of this game or this story? It's like, in our case, the theme of the game of Shrine's Legacy will be loss and how people deal with it. It's not, like, super strong in the demo, but it will be super strong in the full game as you progress through the story.
How people cope with it, I think is a better term.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that, I mean, you say it's not heavy in the thing, but I mean, that's what your opening scene is, right? It's this person who's been rattled with, maybe difficult choices and other, just tragedies. You can tell that they're worn down. And then obviously Rio is kind of the same way. He's got this headstrong mentality and he's about to get his world rocked as soon as Ackler comes in. And so now he's got to go on this adventure to really put his what he thinks is might to the test. And so that's definitely interesting. So, well, thank you, Alan and Joseph, for joining us today. Definitely appreciated trying your game out and hearing what inspired you and what created you, or what helped you along with your creative process and your technical process. So thanks for that. Do you guys have any final words for your audience? Let them know where to find you or anything else you want to share?
Yeah. Our Twitter handle is at Shrines Legacy, all one word. From there, you can find links to our Kickstarter pre-launch page. So if you could follow that, if you're on Kickstarter, that would be great.
It'll just let you know whenever it goes live.
Yeah, you'll get an email notifying you when the Kickstarter goes live. And we have a website, which is positiveconceptgames.com. It's also on our Twitter.
Yeah, it has a demo that anyone can play.
Yeah, the demo is free. Anyone can get it, download it, and you can just it's on Steam. Obviously, we've said that before, so it's all over social media. You can just Google search Shrines Legacy, and you'll probably find it easy enough.
Which feels cool.
Yeah, it does
for sure. And we do have all of our Kickstarter projects on our activity page on our website. PowerUpSouthBend.com, PWRUPSB.com. And then you go to the activities tab, so PowerUpSouthBend.com/activities. And you can find that there. So we've had a lot of great projects, and we're definitely, again, honored to have you two as you guys start your game studios, start pursuing your dreams. So we wish you the best of luck. And to everyone, we hope you have a great evening. And we can't wait to see everyone once it's safe to have a convention again.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you everyone for watching.
Appreciate it.
Thank you as well, Brian.
Absolutely.
Yes, thanks, Brian.
Appreciate being here.
Really appreciate it, definitely.
For everyone on the stream, that's Alan and Joseph of Positive Concept Studios presenting Shrines Legacy, and I'm Brian of Power Up GG, and we'll catch you next time, Friday at 7 ET. Peace.
Bye.